And there are different ways to raise money. One of the easiest ways is through the EU funds for the company, which is out of European Union, and also it would be done with the minimal involvement, financial involvement from the company. So let's go into the details of that. First of all, it's not a financial, offer. It's not. There is no offers in it. It's just a simple research. I've done it personally, and I don't want to. Practically, you have to have your considerations when you are reviewing these documents. So I want to start with the case of innovation funds, especially in the case of Poland country. There are similar funds in other European Union countries. There are different type of businesses, and that would be covered under these funds. The financial requirements that are needed, how should we get funded, and also what is the minimal amount of the money that is required for getting funded. So as you know, there are different supports for entrepreneurs from European Union funds for each of the countries in European Union. And in general, there are a lot of different categories. What we are dealing with mostly are regional development, social funds, cohesion funds, and other types of funds that we work with daily. About this specific project, uh, we are going to implement it in practically Warsaw and in Masovian region. There is about 1.5 billion euro of fund available. And just to the capital city of Warsaw, there is 501 million euros of the fund available for different projects that would be matched to the requirements that we're talking about. There are different priorities. The major priority, or the priority number one for this kind of funds, is for European funds for competitive and intelligent Masovia. So research and developments, innovative, any kind of innovations for enterprise, e-services, innovation and competitiveness of SMEs are in the first category, or in the first priority of these funds. There are different priorities. We are not going to talk about all of them one by one. And but the most important ones are the ones that are covered for the case of the European funds for green development, Masovia, European funds for development of urban mobilities. These are the ones that would be used for the construction companies or the ones that are working on the renewable energy sectors and so on and so on. I'm not going to talk about them right now, but yeah, these are the ones that would be also interesting for those kind of companies. Uh, Right now, I'm going to be focused on two major funds. One of them is a fund that is, Priority One fund, which is, in fact, uh, covering the major costs in R&D projects. Up to 85% of the cost will be covered. 50% comes from the entrepreneurs, and the minimal amount of the fund that would be practically raised is 250,000 euros. So there is a deadline for it, and the deadline for that is in less than a month from the time that I'm preparing this video. And also there is another one, research and development for infrastructure of enterprises. That is another one that we will be talking, we can talk about it in another time. But at this time, we are focusing on it. Let me go into the details and tell you that exactly if you are applying for the minimal amount of the fund, what is the involvement that you have to have. Let's assume that you have a project which is 300,000 euros. Up to 85% of that can be given by the government. So 255K will come from government. And you have to pay something like 15% of the value, which is 75K euro. And you have to prove it, that you have the money either in your bank account or you have a credit line from your bank or whatever. The amount of the money that is given to you, a portion of that would be as a grant. It is free money, in fact. And the rest of that will be with the annual interest rate of 3.5%. That is fantastic. Let's go for, there is a formula for calculation of that. I'm not going to into details of that. Let's consider for this pharmaceutical product, you need 250, you need 300,000. 255 should come from your side, 75 comes from your side, 255 will come from the government. So you should have the 75 in your bank. But also, What we did is that we found some companies and financial groups that are providing you with the loan commitment or credit commitments. They can cover up to 90% of the required money. Yeah. There would be 1 year guarantee, 1 year grace period, and 4 to 5% interest year per year, repayment up to 5 years. So if you have just 10% of that amount, you would be able to raise something like, with 7,500K in your bank account, you would be able to raise a fund which is 300,000 euro. So if you have 75,000, it will be 3 million euro. Yeah. However, I'm telling it is not that simple. There are different, practically applications. Your innovation should be confirmed and so on and so on. But in general, that is something that you should consider it very well. Also, it worth noting, I put a note here, that a significant portion of the amount paid is dispersed without requiring an invoice or allocated without any security. So there are some payments, like for the payment for the project manager, the payments for, let's say, a project coordinator, and also the payment for the rent of the place. These are the payments that the government doesn't need any invoices. So even the repayment of the amount of the money that you are getting from the private financial groups, the repayment of that would be paid with those amounts of the money that there is no scrutiny on it. Yeah. So in fact, having 7,000 euro, you can raise 300,000 euros, and that is something that would be fantastic for the projects that need the initial, capital for development of their projects and so on. So again, at the end, the project is not as simple as I described. There are more practically complexities, but yeah, this is a good starting point, and for sure, we can have a conversation about that. That what are the next stages? What we did and what we tried to do is that we set up different type of products back to back to each other, and different service providers back to back to each other, and the companies who want to apply could be easily using this platform that we provided in order to be able to raise a good amount of money. Okay, thank you.